All right, let's go ahead and bring in Brett Tolman, former U.S. Attorney and Executive Director for Right on Crime. Brett, I had a wonderful former boss, a retired four-star general, who always used to say, do not confuse action for output. Hearing Mr. Ellison made me think of that advice.
And Joanne, I thought of the phrase, what's the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over again and expecting a different result. And, we've seen this. This was their playbook. They rolled it out. They've been aggressive. I think, though, lawsuits are one thing. The lawfare where you're attempting to use the law to target your opponents is another thing. And, if they want to bring a lawsuit and let the courts effectively make a decision, whether it is regarding transgender care or any of the other issues that the parties are divided on, that's one thing. It's an entirely different thing to use the law to target individuals like they did President Trump and several individuals that are a long list of people that they tried to use the criminal and the civil law to go after. So we'll see if they're going to take the same playbook. But I like what your general told you. I think that's a phrase worth remembering.
So take a look at this. This is from Saturday, okay? This was in the Washington Post, an op-ed by Megan McArdle. She says those who believe in the value of neutral institutions must do everything they can now to protect the rule of law. I'm afraid that doesn't mean condemning just Trump. It also requires us to condemn Democrats who have violated norms of institutional neutrality in their zeal to get Trump. What do you think?
I think we've seen that. I think we've seen a willingness of those. What's frightening is those we give the most power to are prosecutors across the country. The ability to take someone's liberty, to put them in prison, to take their possessions and their money and effectively, their life. We have seen a willingness to use the law in a manner that is abusive. And we were warned many, many years ago by Supreme Court justices and others that said, the power of the prosecutor is to do good and to do justice. It's not just to win a case. Yeah. And I'm hopeful that we get back to a common ground and an understanding of not going after our political opponents.
A lot of hope, maybe not a lot of chance, but a lot of hope. Brett, we got to leave it there. Thanks for joining us. That is the